This is the Nightwolf howling at you, and I already know I'm going to have a complaint about this one when we get to it. But anyway, we're taking a look at the Transformers the Movie Studio Series, Dinobot Snarl. This is actually the only Dinobot I haven't opened up yet. While I've only actually done reviews for, Swoop was the only one I did a review for, to be honest. I never got around to opening up Snarl because I did see the Prime vs. Prime review on him, and it made me not be in a hurry to open it up, to be honest. And there's a specific reason for that, but we will go over that when it comes time to talk about it. On the box, we see just the artwork. This is from when they were doing the fully enclosed boxes for a while. So we don't even know how he looks inside. Heck, technically, I don't even know if he's actually in there. On the side, we just get a side shot of his face in Dino mode. Another side shot of the face in Dino mode. And on the back, we just see the robot and Dino mode. Surprisingly, he comes with a sword, though. And actually, this is going to be even more irritating, I think, possibly. However, let's go ahead and open this sucker up. Here we have the Dinobot Studio Series backdrop. I think this was the same one that was included with all the Dinobots, but I don't remember for sure. But I'm pretty sure this one at least came with Swoop also, but like I said, I think it came with all of them. And that's Autobot City under attack during Transformers the Movie. A movie where apparently Snarl only shows up for a few moments and then is gone because for whatever reason we only saw 3 of the Dinobots, I think, throughout most of the movie, if I remember correctly. As always, we have our instruction booklet, which will be ignored until it's absolutely necessary to use it. He comes with his sword. I guess he's the first Dinobot to actually come with a sword. Although his is silver instead of red. It looks kind of big to me, too. I don't know why. We have his back ridge separate from the rest. Looks like it's 2 different plastics, though, so that's cool. Alright, so our buddy Snarl here. It's kind of weird, though, that he came with a sword but not a gun, considering that everybody else came with their guns instead of swords. Except for Swoop, who technically came with both, but he was also a smaller one, and they had to throw extra stuff in there to justify the leader class price. Because I think most people thought that Swoop would end up being a Voyager class because of the size difference. Anyway, let's talk about the articulation real quick. Head is on a ball joint, so we can look around. He can do a complete 360 if he wants. There's a little bit of down, a little bit of up, and some side-to-side action. Of course, you can also look to the side, up and down. His tail fins can, of course, move, although that's got more to do with transformation than anything else. But, of course, this little bit blocks him from going too far back, but I think straighten him out there. We have an arm hinge going straight up. Well, not straight up, but, you know, pretty far that way. We have a spin. And you can hear that ratchet in there. That's nice. I do like ratchet joints on the Transformers for the arms and legs. However, of course, we can't do a complete 360 because of the spine tail. Unless you move it out of the way, but that looks ridiculous. At least I think it does. Maybe it's your aesthetic. We have a swivel at the elbow. I wouldn't quite call it a bicep cut, but it is a swivel and it goes all around. The elbow, I should say, has a better than 90 degree there for the hinge. We have a complete spin at the waist. We can kick out so far. Boom. So we can do the splits. Oh, shoot. We've got ratchet joints here at the thigh. And if we lift up his torso a bit, we can get actually a pretty high kick going on there. In truth, the torso had to move just to get it to kick up, though. Like, oh, maybe not. Maybe I was just stupid. Anyway, guess you don't have to. But like I said, if you do lift him up a bit, you can get even higher kick from him. And he can kick back. The spine is getting in the way. But once you move it out of the way, you can get a full back here. So actually, not only can you do the side splits, you can do the front back splits as well. We have a single joint in the knee. Again, we've got a ratchet in there. Like, they put a lot of money in the ratchets here, didn't they? We can get even further bend if we move the back of the leg out of the way. We're getting close to complaint time here. Actually, we can start the complaints here pretty shortly. He does have a ankle rocker. So you can have him flat-footed, even stretched out a bit. So we can get some dynamic poses in there if we want. Though to be perfectly honest, setting up the dynamic poses is not my cup of tea, as you can usually tell from the photos I do at the end. Alright, so let's start with the complaints real quick here. And this will become even more obvious once we get into Dino mode. But the problem is, they did not paint all of the gold parts with the same metallic or they didn't use the same metallic plastic on them or paint. However they did this, that's weird. The plastic on the sword doesn't even match up with the plastic on the other two used. So I am fairly certain this is a coating, but not 100%. It could actually be that this is the plastic itself. However, as you can see by his feet here and the dino feet showing here, they didn't use it on all of the spots. They cheaped out. Yeah, it's got to be. It is paint because it is a paint coating because you can tell here because it's painted on the red too. My guess is it's this gold painted with this gold on most of the body. I'm not going to cut any of those parts off just to find out for sure though. This ruins the aesthetic, especially in Dino mode, but we'll get to that once we transform him, which we are going to try to do now. Hopefully I don't screw it up, but I probably will. Alright. Oh, shoot. Wait a minute. Did I put this on backwards? I think I put that on backwards. Yeah, actually, that makes a lot more sense now that I look at it. Look at that. Even just starting to figure out I screwed up. Oh, okay, so I missed a joint when I was doing the, although technically it wouldn't really have affected the articulation, but... So that wasn't too bad, actually. But here's the thing that I've got as the complaint. This is actually a pretty good Dino mode, right? I mean, there are some issues here with the way the spines sit and everything, to be honest. But overall, this is actually pretty well done. He's a bit chunky. Aside from the split on the head standing out as well as it does, I don't think there was any real good way for them to improve on that. Like, it's been a problem with the original toys, too. But this is where it really stands out that they did not use the gold paint on the legs and the head, especially on this one. Every other Dinobot has this gold all over the gold parts, except for Snarl here. And that so throws off the aesthetic, it's not even funny. And this is why I wasn't really in a big hurry to do anything with this figure. Like, and Snarl is one of my favorite Dinobots. Snarl and Swoop are my favorite Dinobots. And they did them dirty. They cheaped out here on the legs. And like I was saying, I think because this gold on the sword here, plastic, it's darker than this. It's probably what they used here, which again, I don't know why they didn't use this darker gold on the rest of this either. Because this would have been a better match for this too, but right now this just blatantly stands out, especially when you put it with the rest of the Dinobots. Okay, so I haven't done that yet, but, you know, I'm just saying, like, I can tell it's going to. And I was just looking at them, you know, this weekend while I was working on the cleaning up the room, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to go ahead and get this review done with, too, is because it was the only Dinobot I hadn't opened yet. Somewhere along the lines, I suspect that Hasbro's going to put out another version of this guy where they did properly paint everything. And I don't know. I haven't really seen any of the third-party companies actually redo these things to get us the proper gold on him, which I would think would be one of those things that they would jump at. But then again, that might be a little bit more complicated than normal to try and, you know, swap out parts too. But let's talk about the articulation here in Dino mode, shall we? The legs move up and down, all around. At least the front does. And then, of course, there's a rocker here. Not a rocker, but a swivel, I guess, for the foot. It does give you some actual posability. Not a lot, but also back leg swivels all around. Again, little joint here for a hinge joint and a swivel at the foot itself. Although that has more to do with transformation than anything else. And technically you can get a little bit more of a bend by doing that, but that looks ridiculous. The tail does not move at all. Kind of a shame. And he has a mouth that opens up. Unfortunately, they did not work any kind of a peg in there, which probably would have been difficult, to be honest. But there's no peg worked into there to do like flame effects. And then for storage, weapon storage, obviously put it on the leg like that, cop out. You can stick it up on the top like that. That's very loose too, by the way. Give them really big spine at the top. Still not sure why they decided to paint this one silver instead of going with the standard red that the Dinobot swords were. Or even going with the gold to match his spines, which would have made more sense too. But as we already discussed, they cheaped out on all that anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And as I said, something that was going to be infuriating to look at. Taking back another look at the back of the box, which actually, I'll move this and just throw it up here on the screen. They did paint all those parts with that paint in the display model that they used, so that's even more irritating that they didn't do it here. You know, oddly enough, for all the other cheaping out they did paint the silver on the inside of the head just to have it not stand out inside the leg, which is kind of funny that they did that. But also, that also makes the seam stand out more when it's in Dino mode too. Look, he's got baby hands. So that missing bit of articulation, right? Or that, you know, kind of locks in place there on the arm. And you've still got the elbow thing. But, seriously? Okay. But you can kind of get like a better cut here if you want for the elbow hinge, turning it into somewhat of a double joint with that slider there. Though I'm not sure that's practical, but it is something you can do. This is a tough one for me, though, because I've got all my Dinobots displayed basically in Dino form. Okay, so I got the first 3 displayed in Dino form. Swoop's still in robot form because I haven't put them in the display yet, because I got to move stuff around anyway. But, like I said, just those parts that aren't painted in Dino mode really stand out too much. And I don't understand, like, how much money did Hasbro save on this figure that it justified ruining the aesthetic? You know what I mean? Like, that's just terrible. And, you know, we're getting an actual G2 Grimlock in the blue, you know, the actual one that was released, which means there's a good chance we'll get a re-release of Snarl, and I think he was originally in red in G2, was one of the slug, whatever you want to call him, was actually green. So I imagine that we'll get those too. Are they going to cheap out on this again? And if they don't, how many people are going to pick up a second one to swap out body parts and then return the swapped one? Not saying you should do that, but that is something that, you know, people might actually think of to do. So Hasbro really effed up on that, in my opinion. But I guess we'll see how it goes. And I did not need the instructions for anything. Yay me. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope I entertained you. And if I did, please feel free to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and as always, I thank you for watching. Peace and love.